10 months had passed since the divorce. 10 months of forced routines, awkward silences, and memories I thought I had buried. I had convinced myself that I was moving on, that life could be measured in late-night calls, work deadlines, and empty apartments. But nothing could prepare me for the shrill ring of my phone at 6:42 a.m., the voice on the other end shaking like a fragile glass. "I'm alone and hungry," my 8-year-old son whispered. "I can't move. I think I'm dying. Please help." I froze, coffee halfway to my lips, the words echoing in my skull. My heart skipped a beat, a rhythm of panic I had not known in months. I grabbed my coat and keys, adrenaline fueling each step. Every traffic light felt like an eternity. Every turn a knife twisting deeper into my chest. When I arrived, the apartment was silent except for the faint groans of my son curled on the sofa, pale and trembling. The smell of neglect was thick in the air, mingled with a faint sour scent of milk gone bad. I scooped him up into my arms, my chest heaving, realizing that the life he had been living without me had been worse than I imagined. As I called an ambulance, he clung to me, whispering, "I thought you didn't care anymore." His words struck me harder than the panic in my chest. I wanted to tell him I loved him, that I was always coming back for him, but the guilt choked me. 10 months of absence, 10 months of excuses and silence had carved a canyon between us. The hospital was a blur, doctors, questions, tests, and a relentless ticking of the clock. He had been severely malnourished, weak from the neglect he had endured. The social worker asked questions I wasn't prepared for. Who was supposed to be caring for him? Why hadn't anyone noticed? I wanted to scream at the world, but my voice wouldn't come. It was then, in that sterile, fluorescent-lit room, that I remembered everything I had tried to forget. The affair, the late nights I spent texting someone I wasn't supposed to, someone whose touch felt electric after years of suffocating routine. My ex-wife had found out. The divorce had been final within months, and I had convinced myself that the betrayal ended with the papers signed. But the truth was, I had abandoned my son first. I had chosen fleeting desire over responsibility, lust over love. The realization hit harder than anything else. I had not only betrayed his mother, I had betrayed him. And now, seeing him pale and frightened, unable to lift himself from the sofa, I understood the real cost of my selfishness. I had destroyed the trust that no apology could easily rebuild. As he rested in my arms, I whispered promises I didn't know if I could keep. I would never leave him alone again. I would make up for the months I had squandered. The affair that had seemed like freedom now felt like chains, each memory a reminder of my failures. I knew the road to redemption would be long, and that his trust would not return overnight, but I vowed to walk it step by painful step. The days that followed were a storm of emotions. I moved him back into my apartment, the little space we shared suddenly alive with chaos, laughter, tears, and the smell of breakfast cooking again. We rebuilt routines, school lunches, bedtime stories, weekend outings, but the shadow of my absence lingered. He asked about his mother, about why we couldn't be a family anymore, and each answer I gave had to be carefully measured, truthful yet gentle. The guilt of my betrayal was a constant companion. I thought of her, the woman I had cheated with, the stolen moments that had seemed thrilling but now felt hollow. My son's need reminded me daily that true love is not excitement or secrecy. It is presence, consistency, protection. The affair had been a momentary escape. Fatherhood demanded sacrifice, attention, and accountability. Late at night, when he finally slept, I would sit on the edge of his bed, staring at the walls, replaying every choice that had led me here. The loneliness of my own mistakes weighed heavily, but it was tempered by a strange kind of hope that I could still be a father worthy of his love, even if I could never undo the past. 10 months of absence had almost cost me everything. Now, each laugh, each whispered, "I love you, Dad," felt like a small victory over my own failings. I had learned the hardest lesson, that betrayal leaves scars not just on lovers, but on the innocent, and that redemption is measured not in grand gestures, but in quiet, daily acts of presence and care. And so, I vowed never to let desire or selfishness eclipse my responsibilities again. My son's tiny hands held my fingers tightly, and for the first time in months, I felt a fragile but powerful sense of purpose. I had failed him before, yes, But now, every step I took was toward making him whole again, toward rebuilding a bond one had almost destroyed, and toward proving that love, even when fractured, could still endure